Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to go back and play another clip from the other day. When I got my Twitter account, or my X account, turned off for no reason and with no warning and with no explanation after 5 years of building a social media presence. I can't stress that enough. When that happened, and it's still that way, I got sidetracked, so I didn't get a chance to play some of these clips. Link2, who is one of my sponsors, they've made a decision to go IPO in the next, I think, 6 months or so, or 6 months to 8 months maybe. But Joe Endoso, I played a clip from this the other day, but this is the clip I really wanted to play, and I had missed it. Listen to what he says about Link2, and you can get the private equity on the Link2 platform for now. At some point, they're going to turn it off, I'm assuming, because when they file the paperwork to go IPO, they won't be able to have it on the platform anymore. Let me see if I can get it to play.
Revenue of between 55 to 60 million this year. And based on current public market comparables, and I will add the caveat that the public market right now is at a low point, and fintech valuation multiples particularly have been severely hammered. So they're at a very low point, below actually the market. If I use those fintech multiples, I'm still coming up with a valuation for the company today that's in the $600 million range. And I will further say that we are currently working on a mezzanine equity round, meaning we're going to raise a pre-IPO round of capital in order to add some additional equity onto our balance sheet and some additional cash, some additional liquidity to the balance sheet, but also for the purpose of setting a valuation mark prior to going public. And we will, I'm relatively confident we can close this at roughly that valuation I just described to you.
Whoa.
That's awesome. And I guess if I could just...
Okay. So I am a Link2 shareholder myself. And so I'm getting excited about this whole thing. Now, I want to thank these people like Dark Defender and Ashley Prosper and so many others. This is so nice, and I really appreciate what everybody's doing. They've got a hashtag free DAI. Again, I'll tell you again, on this X thing, I fully believe that this was some bot error. But the problem is, for people like me out here, and anybody else who's an influencer or whatever you want to call it, that has spent thousands and thousands of hours, creating content and doing this every single day for all these years. I've been doing it since May of 2018. And to have to after that long, in any business you're in, you're not just going to get turned off on a dime like that. That doesn't happen. This crazy world we live in now, you don't get a phone number. You don't get anything. They can just say, oh, it can be some teenager who just got a job at X who said, oh, well, I don't like what that person said. I'm just going to turn them off, and then they can get in the queue to worry about it later. There's no nothing, okay? I'm not playing that game anymore. But I appreciate what everybody's doing. Free DAI is a hashtag, and these guys, I think that they will reinstate my account. But I'm not going to sit around and wait. Look at here's a great example of what I'm talking about. What's going on in this country and in this world right now. This is an the war over in Israel is going on. It says, breaking, Elon Musk X flags Ayatollah Khomeini's tweets for rules violation and leaves them up in the public interest. Well, see, I have a problem with this. This isn't, for me, this is not about a war. For me, we're the United States of America. What business is it of Elon Musk or anybody else to, we're going to flag your comment? What? No. Free speech is free speech. Let people say what they're going to say. If people are offended by it, let them be offended. But they will at least know what the person said. When this country was created, they didn't say, free speech, but it depends on this, and that. No. Let people say what this cancel culture thing's got to go. It's pure evil. This is Nazi stuff. This is Gestapo stuff. Let people say what they're going to say. If people have something to hide and they don't want people saying it, that's their problem. But stop all this. If you don't stop it, you're not going to have a country like we've got. Well, the digital asset investor will not play this game any longer. What I did is I went and created one of these membership sites, and we're going to call it when you join, you're an official. You're not just in it. You're the official member of the Digital Asset Investor channel. What I'm going to do, this is purely for the purpose of, if let's say X doesn't turn me back on. Let's say that tomorrow, against that backdrop, YouTube turned me off. These people, they've censored not just me, but everyone. Back during the pandemic, if you said the word that started with a C, and maybe to this day, I don't know, if you said the word, they didn't warn you, they didn't tell you, they didn't say you can't say this, they would start penalizing your channel just like that. That world is sick. I don't want to be in that world. What I want to be is in a world where I can say the truth and show the facts to back it up, which is what I do every day and will continue to do. Well, I created this, and you can find it, the link's in the top of the description. It's DAIXRP.com. You can go to DAIXRP.com. If you become a member, I made it extremely inexpensive at $6 a month. And the significance of that is that's under the cost of like YouTube Premium if you wanted to get rid of the ads. So what I'm going to do is every day I'm going to put my 2 videos here, and they'll be ad free. So you won't have any YouTube ads in this. Now, I also have the ability to, like, if I take a picture, I do different things, or I want to record a video of myself saying something or talking or whatever, I can put it in here too. I don't know what all I'm going to do. I'll figure it out as we go. But what I do know is I'm going to put my videos that I do every day in here, and I'm going to do them ad free. This way, if these guys ever turn me off, I have my own DAI island in exile where you and I can keep doing what we've been doing. You'll keep seeing my videos. This is where I'll be. If they kicked me off every I refuse. I am not going to go back on X and create I already have a profile. I didn't do anything wrong. I already have a freaking profile, and those guys should reinstate me yesterday. They shouldn't have ever done this. And there's no excuse for what's been done to me. It's a complete BS, and anybody that really knows what's going on knows that. And so this right here is my backup plan, and I'm going to keep it up. And so if you're interested, fine. If you're not, I get that too. That's fine. But that's where I will be if the real S word hits the fan, as my 11-year-old says. Jeremy Hogan had a great thread here. Jeremy Hogan said he's giving the possibilities of different things the SEC could do, like settle or go to trial or all the different things. Possibility number 1, SEC moves forward with a trial next April against the individual defendants. He's got a chance of this at 39.45%. The judge has left only the hardest part of the case for the trial. The SEC could easily take an L at trial and have some of its dirty laundry aired at the same time. Let me see what his possibility number 2 is right here. SEC could set, well, the first thing to note is that this is the one he gives the best chance, is that they move forward with trial next April against the individual defendants. Possibility number 2, the SEC could settle the case against the individual defendants, move forward with obtaining a final judgment against Ripple and then appeal. Chance 32%. This is the best option. Then it goes down. Option number 3, SEC settles all litigation against Ripple and individual defendants. Yes, this could happen at a settlement conference such as the judge required below, but the SEC has shown very little desire to compromise thus far. Well, I hope that they will settle, but I think he's kind of right. Gary, I think since this case was brought as a weapon, there is a chance that his job, per his puppet masters, is to keep this thing going as long as possible, in which case he would be correct. They would take option, I guess that was 1. All right, check it out. Mike Alford, who's a Bitcoin maxi, Ethereum looks sick. The world computer and ultrasound money narratives have failed. Well, those are realities that Joseph Lubin wanted to create. DeFi and NFTs have largely been abandoned. That's because cartoon monkeys that's not a thing. Vitalik and other insiders are looting the protocol, and transactions are easily censored by governments. It's a disaster. Today I'm selling my ETH. This guy also said that XRP was a security, so we'll see. I wasn't going to show you this clip. This is the clip I wanted you to see. Listen to what every once in a while I'll hear recent clips with somebody like Jim Rickards, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of this, especially for those of you that weren't around back in the day. Watch this.
So that's part of the brilliance of this. And by the way, this is exactly what John Maynard Keynes proposed to Bretton Woods. And Keynes went through the same path. Keynes started, and I read all his papers, he wanted something called the BANCOR. He did not want the dollar linked to gold and everything else linked to the dollar, which is where it ended up because the U.S. delegate Harry Dexter White was a Stalinist agent who wanted to destroy the British Empire. He didn't want any of that. He wanted real world money that could be issued by the IMF, called it the BANCOR. And he started out with a commodity basket, so many barrels of oil, so many tons of weed, so much corn, et cetera. And he pretty quickly encountered all the difficulties that you would expect, which is even so-called commodities are not completely homogeneous. I mean, there's 72 kinds of oil around the world based on sulfur and viscosity and transportation costs, insurance, et cetera. So Keynes pretty quickly got to gold, not because it's shiny and pretty, but because it's an element. Gold is gold. You don't have to worry about the sulfur content of gold. If it has sulfur, it's not gold. The BRICS are going down the same path because and again, public statements, this comes from Lula and Lavrov and others, they looked at the commodity basket. In fact, that's, I think, the most recent kind of, on the record stuff, looked at the commodity basket. And the minute I saw that, I said, they're going down the same intellectual path that Keynes did in 1944. They're going to end up with gold. And that is what Lavrov said last winter. Now, it was one comment, came and went. A lot of people got spun up about it. But that's the path they're on. Now, what happened at the summit
Okay. So the BANCOR. Now, what's important for those, especially those of you new here, we were talking about this stuff back in 2019. Andrew Zell was there right here, April 2019. It's important to look at how things are labeled. Ripple started with digital assets to get away with from the Association of Cryptocurrencies. In fact, the reason this channel is called Digital Asset Investor is because I heard Brad Garlinghouse making that change when he made it. And when I heard those words, because words mean things, I knew what he was doing. Supranational currency, term that had a specific meaning as related to proposed currency of Keynes. The BANCOR was a supernatural currency, conceptualized in 1940, 1942. And folks, anybody who thinks that this stuff, XRP and digital assets, that you think it's just a coincidence that this brick stuff's going on and that we're right here in the middle of World War III. I think I said it on this channel 3 years ago. I was told that XRP was created to prevent World War III. Look at what we're looking at right now. Look at all the things going on around us. This was Rachel Lee, who was one of the people who disappeared off social media from way back when. The XRP you hold is gold. It will become the supranational currency, which will be issued by every bank, company, nation, etc. that needs to move money across borders plus other uses. No longer a single nation will control world's reserve currency. The situation remains imminent. This right here, I was literally sitting right up here. This is when Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives literally stood up at Ripple Swell in Singapore in 2019 and asked them, this guy had been the governor of the Bank of England, okay, like the central bank. Brad Combs had stood up and asked him if he thought XRP would be kind of like the BANCOR that Keynes had mentioned. And then, of course, XRP has been mentioned as a supranational currency in several places. One was the World Bank. This was a World Bank document. This was being passed around back in 2019, maybe earlier. Supranational currency, Ripple XRP. And this isn't the first time. It was also mentioned, I think, like that in a World Economic Forum document as well. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. And don't forget to tell them this. Go to DAIXRP.com. This is DAI in exile. This is where I will be if it all hits the fan and they try to censor all of us on everywhere, on all platforms. This is where I'll be, but I'm going to go ahead and start it up now. The video you're listening to right now will be this video will go up there. I'll put it up here before I even put it on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it without the YouTube ads on here. Thanks for listening.